G'day, Adam Grocke from Johnston Grocke here with John Grocke and Andrew Brown. We're here with the quarterly update. So the first one of 2020. So 2019 went really quick, guys, but it's good to kind of get that year behind us, I think, with
absolutely
turmoil,
big year, big year.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're actually going to talk to you a little bit about what's installed for 2020 in terms of each of our professional areas. So obviously accounting and business, financial planning, investment, and then mortgages and lending and a bit of property. So Andy, we might start with you. What's sort of in line for businesses this year for 2020?
I think a lot of people are actually recovering or trying to stabilise their businesses, compared to last year was a huge issue, obviously, for rainfall, drought, fire, floods and famine, whatever you come across in 2019. So people are trying to consolidate and get a bit more confidence back, especially in areas like hospitality, which has been really hit hard. Hospitality and retail, extremely hard hit. So people are trying to reset strategies, perhaps into new areas of innovation, new business areas where they can grow their business, because obviously last year was very difficult for them.
And you've seen that with a few big retailers closing as well, with Harris Scarf, and it's just not it's not what it used to, and the old businesses need to adapt really quickly to change, don't they?
We need to find new services, new offerings for people, and whether that means through IT or new markets, domestic or external or foreign. I don't think people should just sit on their hands and just go, well, that was a year over, now I can get back to normal. There's no new normal. We need to look forward.
Yeah, disruption, Adam and Brownie, is rampant at the moment. Jeans West are talking about closing stores. Quite amazing, because they don't think it'll impact their business because online has now taken over. So disruption is rampant.
Yeah, and look, it's good because I didn't even walk into a shop over Christmas to do shopping. It was fantastic. I could just do it here during my lunch break. It was great.
Is that what you were doing during lunch break?
That's what I say during my lunch break. But it was, it's just super convenient. So people are looking for convenience and they're looking for price, and that's just the way they can cut out their overhead costs and they can give people the convenience they need. So businesses really need to start focusing on 2020. How can it be more convenient, quicker, and then reduce your price or increase your service and push yourself into a premium level type business.
And it's very evident at the moment. Officeworks is a great example. If you've got a price that'll beat theirs, they'll match it, and in cases that's been 30%.
Absolutely, yeah, which is just incredible. So, John, in terms of the markets, investing and what's kind of what's going to happen for this year, what are some of your predictions or trends that you're seeing at the moment?
We have a very interesting environment going forward the next 12 months. I think risks are now probably the greatest they've been for at least a year, but I think the risks now are very significant. People are chasing yield, and a really simple analogy that explains that is people have been talking about investments that are paying an interest return of 5%. 5% actually sounds pretty good. However, when you consider that cash rates are, say, around 1%, 5% is 5 times the cash rate. If I said to you interest rates are 5 and you could get an income rate of 25, how would you feel? People are actually saying that 25% relative to a 5% rate is actually risk-free. Of course it's not. So the issue is that people are taking on risk without really considering the capital downside.
So essentially what it's saying is people are getting frustrated in a low yield environment, so they're taking added risk they wouldn't normally take to chase yield, because really what they're trying to beat is inflation at a bare minimum, and trying to get a bit of an upside for an income.
And they're really trying to get a level of income that means they don't have to spend their capital. Yeah. So we're in a situation where patient capital is a really important term at the moment. Patient capital means money that you've got sitting in a safe place that isn't doing much, but can take the opportunity when things do become better value and you've got a discount.
And that applies to shares, but also to direct businesses, where you just need to be patient, look for businesses that have good value, not over purchase. Your money may be sitting around for a while, but that's better than wasting and getting in too early.
It's a good point, because cash is king, especially in this environment. And there was the Royal Commission last year, which meant that lending is harder to get now across residential, commercial and business, which just means that we are in a credit crunch. It'll loosen a little bit later this year, but if you look at it and you go, look, we're in a really low interest environment, which hurts retirees, because mortgage holders, that's fantastic. Interest rates go down, you save money on your interest, on your loan, and your repayments go down. But the retirees and people that want to get that yield, they're suffering as well. So it's a double-edged sword sometimes. What we're probably seeing in the property market is it's going to be relatively flat. My opinion is any recovery that we're seeing probably on the eastern seaboard is not going to be sustained in the longer term. It's more of a reaction to the recent 20% drop that they've seen in property prices, and probably unfortunately another 1, maybe 2 interest rate cuts this year as well. So if you're talking about retirees that are looking at that sort of 1.5% yield or return on their cash, that's probably going to come down a little bit more. So there's massive opportunity out there. If we're talking cash is king, if you've got the ability,
Absolutely.
when the opportunity comes to jump on that, you can buy something for the right price, you can get the upside, because the bottom is pretty much here, I think, or very, very close, which means there's going to be some sort of return in the future, and some sort of uplift in the economy at some stage, which is exciting. Cool. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, let us know. We do have Beer and Business coming up. I'll have to give that a plug.
Absolutely.
Which is focused on
Looking forward to it.
businesses. It's going to be great. So focused on businesses and how they're going to grow in 2020. Really good. A couple free sessions, and then we're going to be running an in-depth workshop. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back soon.
Bye for now.